A few years ago, I was shocked to see a video from a major woodworking magazine that demonstrated how to set up a common table saw safety device in a way that was so wrong, it could have resulted in a serious injury. I'm not going to name the magazine because I generally think they give good advice, and I don't want to hurt them for this one slip up. But I do want to make sure that everyone in my audience knows not to do this so none of you get yourselves hurt. The device was a featherboard, and the recommendation was to place it here, right next to the blade. Now, if you do this at a table saw, you can have a dangerous kickback. But this can be confusing because, believe it or not, you can do something very similar to that at the router table. So what may be bad advice in one situation can be good advice in another. And it's important that you understand the difference. So let me show you. Let's start with a basic rip cut at the table saw. A featherboard can serve as an extra hand to keep the workpiece against the fence for smoother, more consistent cuts. Basically, it can go where your fingers can't, and it can apply more even pressure than you're likely to do by hand. But it should only be placed ahead of or before the blade closest to you. Never next to the blade, never behind the blade. Why not? Because the pressure applied to the workpiece by the featherboard's fingers can cause the kerf to pinch closed on the spinning blade, and that's a recipe for a dangerous kickback. And while some featherboards, like this one with the uniquely designed locking foam fingers, can help prevent a board from moving backwards, kickbacks can be violent and unpredictable. You never want to do anything that can increase the chances of a kickback occurring. So at the table saw, a featherboard that's pushing toward the rip fence should only be placed before the blade closest to you. But a router table is different, and this is important because many of the same featherboards you use at the table saw can also be taken over and get double use at the router table, just in a different way. There, you're most likely shaping an edge. You're not opening a kerf by cutting a piece in two. So any pressure that's applied directly into the bit or directly in front of the bit will be supported by the bit's guide bearing or by the fence. Likewise, any pressure on the in-feed side of the bit or on the out-feed side of the bit will be supported by the fence. So this means you can place a featherboard wherever you like on a router table, including right in front of the bit. I usually use two, one for the in-feed side, one for the out-feed side. That gives me a very clean, consistent profile, but you can arrange them however is best for the cut you need to make. Featherboards can also apply downward pressure, and whether you're using the table saw or the router table, downward pressure will be supported by the tabletop itself. So there's no danger of forcing a kerf closed, even if you position the featherboard right next to the blade or between the blade and the fence. I highly recommend you own at least 4 featherboards. This gives you options for all sorts of setups in all sorts of situations. You're not going to use them for every cut, but you'll be glad you have them for many projects. I also recommend a couple of riser blocks so you can combine 2 featherboards to provide elevated support when you're working with panels. You can use any featherboards you're comfortable with. Just avoid the really cheap plastic ones. I did a video on cheap plastic things like push sticks and how they can shatter if they come in contact with the blade. You don't want that. You can even make your own featherboards. If you'd like to know more about the ones I use and why I like them, here's a short review that I did. I've used a lot of featherboards over the years, but the Bow FeatherPro has really caught my attention. The fingers easily bend in the feed direction. That produces just the right amount of pressure for a smooth and even feed rate. But should something go wrong and the saw decides to kick that board back at you, the unique curved shape at the top of the fingers, combined with that living hinge at the base, produces a cam-like action that greatly increases the pressure and virtually locks the board in place. The manufacturer claims 5 times greater pull resistance than a standard featherboard, but I think it's more than that. It's really a unique design that honestly has changed my attitude about how useful featherboards actually are as anti-kickback devices. Maybe you should get just one of them so you can try it for yourself. I'm sure you're going to agree that it is the smoothest and potentially safest featherboard you've ever used. And they come from a small family business that's run by 2 brothers who came up with this great idea in their garage, and they've built a business around it. I love supporting things like that. So I'll link to them below this video.